Of all the characters yet to be announced for Jump Force, I would say that Deku, Izuku Midoria, is one of the most likely characters that we haven't seen yet. Because not only is My Hero Academia one of Weekly Shonen Jump's top new franchises, it's also one of the top 5 most selling mangas in 2018. It's not just successful within Weekly Shonen Jump, it's successful on a more wide scale than that. It would be genuinely surprising to not see Izuku Midoria show up in Jump Force, whether it be as DLC or on the main roster. So I thought it would be fun to theorize a moveset for the next Symbol of Peace. Obviously, big spoiler warning. If you're not caught up on My Hero Academia, I'm going to be talking a lot about it. I would recommend catching up. It's only 3 seasons long. It's really easy to catch up on just because of how enjoyable each season is. So I won't harp on normal attacks and grabs for too long, but I think that Deku would be a combination of both his shoot style and regular fighting style. For those unfamiliar, shoot style is basically a way he starts using his powers in the future. It's not a new power he unlocks, he just starts using his legs a lot more than he uses his fists. Initially, he's much more drawn to using his fists, because of course he grew up idolizing All Might, who uses a lot of his fists, but then later on discovers that legs are much more efficient for him. I don't think he'll have manga-specific abilities, so I'm not going to spoil myself on the manga by reading up on that stuff. I think it's all going to be focused on stuff that both the manga and anime fans have already seen. I would imagine his normals will actually be more based on the early half of My Hero Academia before he started using full cowling and shoot style. I think this is because his awakening will be shoot style. That's not to say none of his normal attacks will feature any type of kick or anything like that, but just to say that shoot style will be more left towards his awakening, because what else are you going to make his awakening? So again, I think it will be much more focused on the standard edition Deku that we saw in season 1, season 2, and even a little bit of season 3, I think, if I remember correctly. Now that we've talked about his normal attacks just for a little bit, let's talk about his grab. I think this would most likely be a reference to the Bakugo fight, the initial Bakugo fight, the very first one. They did this in My Hero One's Justice, which makes sense. You just kind of run up and grab the opponent and throw them over your shoulder. Again, he did this in the Bakugo fight. It looked really cool in the Bakugo fight, and it's a pretty standard grab, and it makes sense for this type of game. Alright, let's officially go over his special abilities. His special one would be a damage move. For those unfamiliar with fighting games, these are often referred to as combo enders. Basically, the way it works is you hit your opponent, it cuts to some type of cinematic thing, or not necessarily a cinematic thing, but it goes into an animation, and you just deal a bucket of damage to your opponent. Ichigo's got one of those in Jump Force, Naruto's got one of those with Jump Force, Chidori is also another example of those. Basically, you hit the opponent, some damage happens. In the case of Deku, the way you could do this is very obvious. He hits the opponent, it cuts into some type of cinematic thing, and then it's some reference to one of his fights. Really, you can go with any one of them, but I would actually have this move change based on whether you're in your awakening state or not. If you're in your regular form, it of course references one of his early fights, and if you're in shoot style, then of course it does some cool shoot style stuff, like for example what we saw with shoot style Deku's super attack in One's Justice. His special 2 I would have be a pretty basic projectile, just like he has in One's Justice. I would actually have this upgrade based on whether he's in awakening state or not, because his awakening would basically be full cowling. He can even do a little bit of self damage as well if you want to incorporate that. Just a pretty standard projectile though. I don't want it to be anything particularly special. And next up, I would actually give Deku a parry, a counter attack to be exact. Just like how Ichigo and other characters on the roster have counter attacks or parries, I would actually have this reference the Stain fight, which is this particular clip here. I'm showing a screenshot of it because I don't want to use any footage in this video because of copyright issues, of course. But yeah, it's a pretty cool move that he uses in the fight, and it would make sense for him to use it as a counter attack. Another cool interaction you could do with this ability, just to spice up his kit a little bit, to reward you for using the meter required to use your special 3, I would actually have this counter attack, if landed successfully, power up both your projectile and your combo ender, and the next one you use would be more powerful. So for example, just like we were talking before how the projectile and the combo ender could be upgraded with your full cowling awakening, what if they did the same thing with this counter attack? Your next attack, instead of your entire moveset being upgraded, your next attack gets the full cowling upgrade. So your next projectile would get the full cowling upgrade, or your next combo ender would get the upgrade. Again, it's just another way of rewarding using the counter attack. There's a couple different ways to balance this if it ends up being too powerful. For example, if the opponent hits you, maybe it cancels the upgrade. I would love to see this, to be honest. And finally, let's discuss his ultimate attack, his super attack, his plus ultra attack, whatever you want to call it. There's a couple different directions you could take this. You could give him something like he has in One's Justice, which is a massive projectile, or his other one from One's Justice, which is just a big pile of damage. But here's what I would do. I would reference the Deku muscular fight. I'm not going to spoil that fight because I know some people would have stuck around in this video, even though I did issue a spoiler warning, and quite frankly, that fight is awesome. But if you've seen that fight, you know the moment I'm talking about, and I would love to see that in the game. And it makes the most sense to have that be his super. So that's it for my Deku moveset. Traditionally in fighting games and in arena fighters, your main character, your mascot character, quite easy to understand. Not a whole lot of complicated stuff in there, and I tried to make that the case for Deku as well, but I also wanted to give him something a little bit interesting with, of course, that upgrade mechanic that he gets both off of the parry attack and the ultimate attack. Just in case you got to this point in the video and it wasn't clear, this is a theory crafting video. This is not what his moveset is in the game. This is something that I would like to see them do with his moveset. It's all in the name of fun. Let me know what you think of my Deku moveset video. Again, it's not particularly long because characters don't really have very in-depth movesets in Jump Force, but I think this is pretty cool, right? We've got a projectile, we've got a combo ender, we've got a counter attack that upgrades both our projectile and our combo ender, which is pretty cool. Our super attack references a pretty important moment in the show. Our grab does the same thing. Our awakening is a reference to something he actually has in the show. I think we did a pretty good job here. I would be pretty happy to have this be Deku's moveset. In all honesty, I think he's probably going to have something pretty similar to this anyway. Maybe not with the whole upgrade thing that I've got going on with the counter attack and projectile and the combo ender, but regardless, I'm looking forward to playing Deku in Jump Force, assuming that he is playable. Regardless of how confident I am about him being in the game, I will freak out when he is revealed. Trust me. I want to thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to see me do this for other characters, let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video at all, remember to leave a like on it. It helps other people find the video. If you're new around here, subscribe to keep up to date with future content. My name's been Bilbsy, and I will see you in the next video.